Hello and welcome to my talk at the Genesee booth at Automatica 2022 in Munich. My name is Martin Labus from Laser 2000. I'm your expert in multispectral imaging, spectroscopy and way more topics. Today I want to talk to you why multispectral imaging and multispectral imaging in the Swir may be helpful for your business. So, first of all, I want to start. So, what is multispectral imaging? So, multispectral is everything that doesn't use monochrome detectors or monochrome lighting in the end. So, a typical RGB camera with its Bayer pattern with red, green, and blue can be considered as a multispectral device. So, there are also other ways to use multispectral imaging, like with a monochrome camera and red, green, blue lighting. But red, green and blue is not everything of what the world is made up. So we are going to extend the spectral range out to the infrared. The infrared region is the region with lower energy or redder than red. So this type of radiation has some different properties than the visible light. We all know what we see, and in typical like visible machine vision, we try to somehow reproduce or optimize imaging in the, let's say, human visible range. In the infrared range, we can go a bit further and see different and gather different information than we can do in the visible, and combining these both ranges can result in even getting more information. Maybe some examples here. What you see here is that the business cards change slightly when illuminating with different light, but this isn't a typical case, of course, but it's a nice to have feature. What's definitely more important, especially using the infrared range, can be food sorting. As you can see here, has been a damage, or still is a damage, as you see. But in the visible range, it's not really obvious. But of course, the apple is still good to eat. Another topic can also be like foreign body detection. So, what you see here is coffee beans, and within it, one brown M&M. From the color tone, when you look at it here, they look pretty similar for the human visible range, but in the infrared, here at that range, maybe the same. But when going out to further infrared, you see coffee beans getting brighter, and the coating of the M&M is getting darker and darker. Third example can be moisture detection. We have here two slices of wood. One is moist, one is dry. One side here coated and uncoated. And what we see when going out to the infrared, to the typical absorption bands of water, you see the dark wet wood. Of course, in that extent, you would be pretty likely to see it in the RGB and in the visible range. But now, with a bit more moisture, what you now see is a darkening at the wet spots, and especially when it's pretty fresh, when it's soaking up, you will see, okay, there's still the moisture. In the infrared, you can also use direct chemical properties, not only from electronic transitions like you have it in the visible range, but also by molecular structure, motion, here with the salt and sugar sample. So salt always appears bright while sugar is getting darker and darker. This is because you have parts of functional groups, hydroxyl groups, which absorb in the infrared, and therefore sugar turns darker when illuminated with the right wavelength. And let's see, last but not least, not even last, but at least another point can be fraud detection. So what you see, there are some security marks that become apparent, or security features that become apparent in the infrared even more than in the visible range. There are also some UV security marks, but this is essentially what you see. Security and surveillance might be also helpful. Dark sunglasses. And using the infrared, they don't seem so dark anymore. So because of course sunglasses shades are optimized for the human perception of visible light and blocking UV light, but for infrared they are like nearly transparent. So that's just a hint, just a few examples where you can use multispectral and Swir imaging for. And of course, for creativity there are no boundaries. So if you want to learn more, or maybe have a project or ideas where you want to use multispectral and Swir imaging, feel free to reach out either to Genesee Lux or me at Laser 2000 and my expert colleagues. Thanks, and see you soon.